ABSupply, this is Richard.
Hi, Richard. This is Craig, and I'll make it really short. So if I was to try to modify this, it looks like it has two little plastic rollers, one on each side for the hold open feature. And I'm wondering if I just removed those, it would still center itself and the spring hinge should still work. I've watched a bunch of your videos, and I just knew you were very knowledgeable about the internals on these things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy, interested, intrigued to do the research. I'm happy to. Send me an email. I will most certainly get to it in the foreseeable future. I would like to know it as well. I never thought of if that could be hobbled or not. But yeah, if you want to send me an email, by all means, I'll reply back to you at some point.
Okay. I can definitely do that. It's just, it wants to engage at about 45 degrees instead of 90. You know, it does its first click and then it'll push on over to it. So it seems like I've tried adding more spring tension and less spring tension.
Where'd you buy the item from?
I ended up getting off of Amazon because they had all the finish colors. Once I discovered your site, I've only looked at your stuff since, just because I didn't know about you beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, and then as she told me, you only have, I think, one color left, and so
the bomber, yes. Well, no, that's actually not true. I have trim plate packages in stock in different finishes.
Yeah, but the only part that would really, I think, be a problem would be the base, you know, where it screws to the floor. That's where the color difference would show.
Well, so depending on what finish you want, that may be compatible or not. So it's going to be in a bronze type color, that floor plate.
Right. And then I even wondered about, is that something you can take off and swap before? Because I have one the right color off of this Deltana.
I suppose anything's possible, but I think that thing is is peened on. I don't think the floor plate's coming off.
Yeah, it's bonded right on there where it mounts to the pivot. Okay. All right. Well, it was just a crazy idea, and I thought if anybody'd know, you would, but I may end up tearing this thing apart. The worst that can happen is I just try to replace it with a 7813, or I guess that's all that's left. Now, did they quit making those? Is that why you only have them left?
Yes, Bomber stopped manufacturing builder's hardware.
All right.
So the steps are contact your distributor, number one. Number two, send me an email. I will take a look at a Dash 95 and give you my opinion.
Okay.
And that's where we are.
Okay. Yep, I got your website up right here, so I will send you an email, kind of describe what I'm doing, and see what you think.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Got an email from a client asking if the Deltana Dash95 can be modified to turn it into non-hold open. I think the short answer is no, but let's at least explore the answer and go on a path of discovery. I think the answer is no, but let's take a closer look. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, let's get the floor pivot put down to something where I can actually modify the unit by putting it into hold open. I can't do it by hand. It's the spring. There's just too much spring tension there. Okay, we've got that down. Yeah, it's not hard to modify this or move it now. Yeah, so the clients, first of all, they're complaining about that cracking sound. That never sounds good when you hear that. Let's see if we can discover what's causing that cracking sound. Yeah, what's happening is the hold open lobe, or the lobe that's touching the two rollers, and you don't see the rollers from your perspective, but here they are. There's one here, and there's one on the other side here. That lobe that's here, because of its shape, its concave type of nature, yeah, it's just clicking in there. That's what's causing that. So what's happening is the lobe has a concave nature. As the door travels, it's that shape of it's the concave nature of the lobe that's going around the rollers that's causing it to self-close, self-center. See a little better here. It's the roller that's here, that my finger is right on top of, and the lobe, that lobe has a concave nature, except in the concave nature in the center, it's concave, kind of looks like that. And the clicking is happening when the roller enters that dipped area, and that's what's creating the hold open point. So the client's theory is that they can remove the rollers and disable the hold open point. And that's just not going to work. So first of all, the clicking is coming because the lobe itself, let's study that. As I pull it up and you hear the click, watch for this pin to move in this direction. You may or may not be able to see it. There's the click. If you watch that, it moves ever so slightly. Yeah, right there, right after, immediately after the click, it shifts. Yep. It biases from this side over to this side. I can stick my fingernail there, but in here I can't. So that's what's causing the clicking sound or cracking sound. It's that piece shifting in there. Now, removing the rollers is absolutely going to disable this completely. It's just not going to work at all if you do that. The only way to make it non-hold open would be to have a part machined without that sort of little extra valley in it. Getting rid of this and just getting rid of that feature right in the center and just making it otherwise smooth. Giving it a true concave nature. Like that. That's what you would need to do to change it to look like that. Now, the company who invented this bomber, they've recently discontinued making builders hardware, and we do have some Bomber 7813 still on the shelf. So let's go. I'm going to go grab a bomber. Come with me. I'm going to go grab a bomber off the shelf, and let's study what that one looks like. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Let's move on to the rest of the video. I've pulled the 7813 that I still have in stock. I think we probably can do it in more finishes than just 639, which is the BHMA code for satin bronze over steel. The issue with other finishes, while I have other trim plates most likely, what I don't have is the ability to change that floor plate. So this is a non-hold open version. And I can't see inside of there. Oh yeah, I can, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let's get the plates swapped around just to prove. I need to be able to see it. And the problem is the floor plate is irreversibly attached to the rest of the apparatus and cannot be removed. Let's put this over here. Let's bring the bomber in. What do you know? The floor holes, the holes for the screws line up perfectly. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, that lobe is wholly different. It does not have... I actually can't see it very well from here. Let's try a little bit of light. Oh yeah, it's completely flat. It's not even concave. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around and show you what that looks like. And you'll note no cracking, no creaking on the original bomber item. Admittedly, I don't have a hold open, but I have had reports in the past of customers saying that the bomber creaks and cracks. Those are always reports of an item that is several years, if not decades old. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that really well. Yeah, all of that is just flat inside of there. That entire surface is completely... Yeah, it's flat. There's no dip in it at all. As I had shown you earlier, it's flat. It's not even curved at all. It's completely flat, and I'll show that to you. So the bomber item looks like that with the dashed line. Okay, is what that looks like. So let's summarize this video. Let's do that right now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, so it's nice to dig into the deeper functionality of how something works. It's how we all learn how it works. So the client's email is, I called in, I spoke to Richard about modifying a Dash 95 in an attempt to make it non-hold open. It is installed between my kitchen and pantry, so receives a lot of traffic. The clacking is much louder than I expected it to be. Well, there shouldn't be any real creaking, cracking, clacking sound. And I think long term, it's not an answer to have that, is the bottom line. And even clicks around 45 degrees. Yeah, the Deltana, I wasn't having trouble in that area, but your mileage may vary. Even clicks around 45 degrees, even though that is short of the stay open position. My final option will be to order the 7813 that we have, but the color choices are limited. They are. Paint the trim plates is all I can say. Or have them replated, and just paint the floor plate that's here. My idea is to remove the hinge and then remove the two plastic rollers. They're not plastic. That the bird's mouth engages when it is in the hold open position. If you remove those, the door is just gonna flap probably the majority of its opening and closing cycle in both orientations from zero. It'll be dead in the water. It'll just float. Now, I know it'll be out of warranty and no support expectation on a modified product because I've already notched the door for this style spring hinge, my options are very limited. Possibly. Thank you for listening, and any insight is helpful. Okay, so first of all, the client bought this from Amazon. So obviously the way that you do this is you contact your distributor and ask for help. The client obviously realizes that there is no functionality of technical support with the world's largest retailer. It's so ironic. What would be best would be to have hydraulic control, a floor closer, an overhead concealed closer in the door, or an overhead concealed closer in the header. Yes, you've got a prep in the bottom of the door. You might just abandon the faceplates there to cover that up and do an overhead concealed closer. What's nice about that is you'll have hydraulic control. You can really tailor it. It'll be practically silent. The only thing that you can really hear is fluid going through race waves and a valve going through raceways. So it's all but silent. The downside of that is all of the preparation. The installation is not insignificant, and the cost is most certainly not insignificant for any of the three types of closers that I've mentioned. But that would be the really real ideal way to do it. People use these in restaurants. They use the Bomber 3029 double acting spring hinges when they were available in restaurants, and those things are always noisy. Even when you're in a residential scenario, you don't want excessive noise in the environment. You don't. You know, going into the pantry at 1 in the morning, you know, is something that if you're like me, you may do for a little snack, and you're for sure going to send a noise that doesn't seem like much decibels at 5 p.m., but at 1 in the morning, you've got the cracking, you've got a moving piece of equipment mechanically fastened to probably a wood floor, and that's just going to resonate everywhere. So you'll get caught sneaking a midnight snack. So if it was me, I would replace it, and I would deal with the fact that you don't have the right type of finish. It's the least of all evils. But modifying a Dash 95 is a no-go. Any questions on double-acting horizontal spring pivots or any other builder's hardware, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.